Hi Tarot Rebels, welcome to today's video. My name is Michaela from Tarot Rebel and I'm super happy to see you all joining us today. I'm going to talk about my tarot reflections over the 2021 period, and I'm going to confess to some things that aren't necessarily healthy in terms of personal development, some blockages I've had during the past year, and what kind of purchases actually made sense to me as a tarot reader but also as a collector, and whatever else crosses my mind, because this will be more of a free flow kind of video rather than a scripted one. So whatever you'll see and hear during this video, it's just gonna be my unfiltered beautiful self. I will showcase most of the decks that you see here, but I'm gonna start with the card of the year. So my card of the year was on my reading, in my initial reading. It was the Queen of Wands, with the challenge King of Pentacles, which was interesting. This is the Queen of Wands, and this was always the type of character that I have struggled with. Having her as the theme of my reading kind of put me in that place every time when I struggled with something. I decided to embody the Queen of Wands, with the King of Pentacles as a close second, because again, these two characters are very strong in my opinion, and sometimes I lean too much into the masculine of the King of Pentacles, but I would need the feminine force to balance it out. And it was surprising to see that the Queen of Wands was the theme of my reading for the 2021 year. But I tried my best to embrace it. I tried my best to weaponize it in a way, to embody that consistency, but also that carefree spirit, but the inspirational advocacy spirit of the Queen of Wands, at the same time with her assuredness and her assertiveness. And I think at times I had trouble embodying those characters, those traits, and I would fall into the King of Pentacles a lot, which was a struggle to me to balance out in a way that's healthy. But it feels like in the last couple of months, especially in the second half of the year, I've made amazing progress in reaching that balance. And it was funny because I have here the King of Diamonds, which, sorry for the stain, this was a playing card I found on a random walk on the street, and it just spoke to me. The King of Pentacles, sometimes I get too much of that masculine controlling energy in me, and to find the King of Pentacles, the King of Diamonds on the street when my struggle during this year was the King of Pentacles, it was very prophetic, if you want. Also, as a struggle for me this year, I've used less of my Centennial Rider-Waite tarot deck for some reason. I don't know why. I just can't really explain it, but it just so happened that I found myself using it less and less. Obviously, I have multiple copies of RWS decks and variants of the system. It's just I found myself shifting away from the traditional path, which sometimes happens after you've been dealing with it for a while. But okay, these were the cards of the year. Let's move on to the purchases of the year, and obviously there are several. As you can see here, I have several of them. The first one I would say is the Goliath tarot deck. I think I mentioned before how much I wanted it and how much I desired and lusted after this deck. I do have the second edition, which is this. It has this lovely guidebook. I think I mentioned before, I don't like the way it's bound in a landscape format. I would have preferred it to be flipped to the left rather than up top, but that's just my personal opinion. As you know, this is a very loved deck within the community. Everyone loves it. It's a black and white deck used for shadow work with black matte edging and some extra cards that I really love. Sorry, I just noticed I had something on my hands. Yeah. I don't read with the deck as you would read with the deck. I think I mostly use it to reflect. I've never given it a shuffle in the regular sense, if that has any meaning. I like the cardstock. I think the book is amazing. I just refrain from touching it outside of my need to discover things. So I'm just gonna put this aside. Another purchase I enjoy is The Majestic Earth. I managed to snatch a copy fairly recently, I would say. And this is one of the most beautiful decks I have ever laid eyes on. It's just peaceful, overwhelming, intriguing, curious. It's something else. The quality is amazing. This is a factory setting, so technically it has some defects. I personally wouldn't know what to tell you which are those defects, because I can't see it with my open eyes. I love this star card. It's gorgeous. I just sit in awe at the impossible translation that happened in the creation, in the making of this deck, because to be able to express tarot archetypes with imagery, and especially with like random images of the world, not necessarily buildings, like landscapes and waterfalls and forests and everything else, and stones. Like this 5 of stones is actually amazing. This is the 5 of pentacles in this deck. It's so, if you look closely, you'll see this person with the walking sticks far away from them and sitting outside in the cold. This is such a great depiction of the card. The 6 of stone is absolutely sweet and gorgeous. I just like looking at the images and being transported into that emotional place that the deck manages to create for me as a reader. I don't shuffle this deck. I just like pick a card and meditate and journal about it. But it's an absolutely stunning deck, and I think it's already part of my collection, and I will not part with it unless, God forbid, something happens. Anyway, this is one of my treasured purchases of the year. The Majestic Earth Tarot, and believe me when I say this deck is truly majestic. The quality, the feeling, the gilding, the softness of the cards is amazing. So if you get the chance to purchase it, please do so. Also, it has some 5 element extra cards that you can use, and a booklet with descriptions and alchemical associations, artwork references, and keywords. This is the same creator that did the Tarot of Delphi, another treasured deck in our community. So if you're interested, I personally am not attached to that deck the way I am with Majestic Earth, but that's just my personal preference. Another deck I consider a purchase, a major purchase I made this year, is the 4th edition of the Jonasa Jaos Tarot. Obviously, I've seen this on Don Michel's channel, Don Michel at Botho Tarot. And I have the 5th edition because I wanted the deck. I do love the art, and I appreciate the various iterations it has. And I was actually conflicted, should I put both decks, because I bought them, both of them, in 2021. But as much as I like the 5th edition, I wanted the 4th because I like the tall, slim cards and the coloring. It's so much more intense, in my opinion. Yes, it's more zoomed in because the 4th edition is closer to a standard tarot deck in size. So the artwork is zoomed out to make room for the width of the cards. But I do like this this non-standard sizing of the deck, and the coloring, the purples and the greens and the yellows, they work so well together. And I do prefer the backings of this deck. And also the cardstock is thinner but more flexible, probably because of the size of the cards. The 5th edition feels a bit thicker in a way. But yeah, again, this is a very reflective deck for me. I use it for myself because I feel like it's some sort of a secret treasure for me, and I don't want to share it with anyone else. I know it's very, very selfish of me. I just like this deck so much. I can't just like use it on someone else. So this is one of the purchases, the greatest purchases I managed to do this year, and I am super happy to manage to snatch myself even a second-hand copy of it. I think it's a great little deck that I like to use on my own. So that's the Jonasa Jaos 4th edition tarot deck. Another deck I really enjoyed this year is the Stella Tarot. I think I got this in August. Again, I keep saying I'm gonna film something, I'm gonna show you the cards, and I'm gonna show you the deck, blah blah blah. I never do, obviously, as you can see. I think I mentioned it in a couple of videos, but I haven't filmed a proper walkthrough. It's just such a cute deck, so whimsical and so a bit romantic, Victorian romantic, but very, very cute. And the color palette is so sweet. The characters are so sweet as well, except this card maybe. This is such a cute, quirky little devil in a very unexpected way. I just love everything about this deck. It feels like a hug from home. I don't know. I was on the fence a couple of months before I purchased this deck because it's been sitting on my list and like bugging me. Should I get it? Should I not? Oh, but it's so expensive because it's kind of difficult to get this. It's an out of print deck, so it's kind of difficult to get your hands on it. But after some good news, I decided to reward myself with the deck. So that's how I managed to get it. I don't regret purchasing it. I absolutely love using the deck, and even if I don't necessarily read the classic way, I think the way I use it is more me looking at the cards and feeling drawn to something. It's very much intuitively. I look at the cards and I sit with one card and enjoy that emotion, because it's a very quirky, sparkling personality this deck has, and I sit with that good feeling all day long because I just enjoy having this energy in my life. Another deck I consider a purchase of the year is this Untitled Tarot. I've talked and talked and talked about this deck so many times. I just cannot get enough of it. It's one of my favorite decks, honestly. It's a mass market deck from 1999, I think. Yes, 1999. And the creator is Natalie Hertz. I think she created the Vampire Tarot, which I purchased, and one of the fairy tarots as well is created by her, so I purchased all of them because I just like her artwork. It's such a moody, gloomy deck, and absolutely I'm in love with the lines and the colors and the gaunt figures and the faces. Everything is absolutely stunning, and I know people might find it a bit freaky, creepy, spooky, call it whatever. I used it in my Spooktober series this year, but I just think this deck is stunning. The artwork is so different from what you see now, and the quality of the deck, like for a mass market deck, I just can't recall how much I paid for it because I got it, I don't know, maybe April, March, something like that. It's such a buttery filling, and you can see the flecks and you can see the shine, and this bronzy border is everything. I like the colors. The backs are reversible if that's your thing. I absolutely don't care. And it shuffles like a dream because it has such a nice coating to it and such a nice flex. Like if you look at the cards, they're like very flexible and very smooth at the same time. Easy to manage, easy to handle, easy to shuffle. I think it's such an underrated deck, probably because of the artwork. I'm not gonna lie. I've yet to meet someone who likes the artwork. I absolutely adore it, and I'm super happy I managed to get my copy. Moving on to the regret of the year. I mentioned this before. I think I mentioned it in my walkthrough video. This is my Harmony Tarot. It's visually is very pleasing. It's a very nice, quiet, dainty, quirky deck, inclusive, whatever you inclusive because it doesn't have too many humans, I guess. I don't know. It's not my judgment to make, I think. But as a person who likes pip cards, these are the pips. How am I supposed to know if I don't see the 7 and the 9 at the bottom of the deck? How am I supposed to know what cards these are? And is this the summer suit? Because everything in this deck is renamed. You have the Knight of Winter. What is it? The swords, or is it something else? It doesn't have the tarot correspondences. It's basically a new system altogether without helping you transition into the system. It's called tarot, but it's not tarot because it doesn't map itself against the archetypes. So as much as I like the art, because I do think it's stunning, although a bit lazy sometimes, I think I just can't use it without the book. So what's the point of this deck? Why would you call it tarot? And I guess some people have the same thing with the Psychic Tarot, which is basically an oracle deck. But that deck actually translates well into tarot because it has certain elements of the tarot mapped into that and makes it easy for you to read them. Whereas this deck is just like, you don't have any keywords. What is the fairy ring? I don't know, I couldn't tell you. The Six of Summer, I guess, or the Five. If you can tell me a difference, because I've tried, and I struggle. It's, yeah, okay, this bellflower bloomed here, but I shouldn't try that hard to make it make sense, you know. Oh, it wasn't the summer. I think it was the spring. I think this was the spring suit. See, that's what I mean. Because I shouldn't need to use a guidebook every time I read. I like to meditate and to draw my own conclusions, but I can't do it with this deck. As much as I try, I just can't. It feels impossible, and it says a deck for growth and healing, and I can see the growth and I can see the healing. I just can't get there because I feel like the deck itself doesn't lend me the tools I need to get there. And as pretty as it is, and as much as I want to support Harmony Nice because she's one of the first YouTubers I've ever watched consistently, I personally can't use this deck. Let's move on to the next section, and I'm gonna touch upon the Lust of the Year deck. And I have here my second edition of the Marielle Tarot. Sorry, I'm just putting things aside. But I'm gonna insert things while I flip through the cards because I don't know what else to do. I think the first deck that comes to mind in terms of the Lust of the Year must be the Somnia Tarot. This is a deck based on the sleep paralysis experiences that the creator had, and it looks very gloomy and very moody and very overwhelming, creepy in a way. I was debating getting it, but then they don't deliver to the UK, and because I'm in the UK, I just can't order that. So that's one thing that's probably going to be on my list for forever. Then the next deck that's been sitting on my list for forever is the Illuminated Earth Oracle. That's a deck I absolutely love and have thought about for the past year, and again, because it's made in the US, kind of difficult to get to it. I think I will connect with it very, very nicely, very easily, because it has amazing imagery, and it just, from the first moment I saw the deck, I was like, yes, I need to have that. The Luminous Void Tarot, that's another lust of mine. I've always wanted like interestingly shaped cards, and they are oval shaped with golden gilded edges and the red backings, and everything is watercolor, and I do love some watercolor, and I don't know, it's just I keep bringing myself to almost ordering it because now they do deliver in the UK, but I'm something keeps holding me back from doing that. It's just I can't put my finger on it. I really don't know why, but it's been on my list forever. It's actually the Unresolved deck of the year, the Luminous Void, because this is not the first year I've lusted after that deck. It's probably won't be the last. I don't know, it's just something. Every time I want to buy it, it's either out of stock or I click add to cart and then I never finish the transaction. And I think I would love it, but then I have so many decks already, and that's such a special kind of experience that I fear like either I'm gonna just put it aside and forget about it, or I'm just gonna ignore everything else, and neither of those situations really appeal to me. So yeah, that's my list slash unresolved of the year. And going back to my list of the year, a situation is the Mario, the first edition. I would love me some of that because I want to see how I connect with the cards that have been changed. Every time I look at the first edition of the Hierophant, I'm like, I need to know how I can connect with that, because it's such an interesting imagery, and I don't know what to make of it. And I want to be able to connect with it the way I connect with my Mario at the moment. But it's just so hard. I don't know. I want it to make sense to me in a way that this second edition makes sense to me, because the way I purchased the second edition was so weird. I just randomly saw it on a website and I'm like, yeah, I want this deck. I didn't know anything about the imagery. I was like, I'm not gonna watch any walkthroughs. And the night before I got it, I had all my dreams were purple. And when I opened the deck, this card flew out, and this is the devil, this is my card. And it's like, it instantly clicked with me. I will never give up on this deck, just because it felt fated to have it, to use it, to embrace it. And I love everything about this deck. I know it's controversial. People find the imagery a bit too much, a bit extreme. I simply adore it. I just can't live without my Mario at this point in time. And I do admit I want the first edition, just for the sake of it, just for the flex of it. I'll probably still use my second edition. I tend to prefer mass market stuff, because I can use and abuse the cardstock without any regrets. And I think this one's, the cardstock is really nice, and I can do whatever. The unexpected purchases of the year, in terms of how good they were. I'm gonna start with a Kickstarter, the new Immortals, and I've done a walkthrough of this deck. It's a linen finish, and it's a traditional deck. Looks really colorful, pippish, rather, in terms of the minors. Very art style, but collagey, vectory. I don't know how to describe it. Has some minor mistakes, minor hiccups in terms of numbering things, but overall I really like it. I feel like this is a deck that it was well priced, well executed, could be better, not gonna lie, especially with the mistakes, but I'm not super fussed about it. And I think, like this Chariot, it says 7777, but here it says 12. Should be not XII, should be VII in Roman numerals, but fine. I can get behind it. I don't really mind. It's just, I find the imagery gorgeous. I like the details, I like the way it shuffles, I like the images existing outside of borders, as you can see here. It's one of my favorite things. Sometimes the artwork is so busy, but it lends itself useful in the hands of the right reader. Not saying I am, I'm just saying it gives you a lot to work with if you need to. Look at this devil. Gives me that, what's that deck? Zombie Tarot? because this is such a vintage look the devil has. It's I just like it. I don't know. I just like looking at this deck, and because it's so tiny, and the box is tiny, and it's a very solid, nice cardboard box. The deck being linen finish, you can easily transport it without fear of bending it or damaging it in rain. I live in the UK, obviously we have rain almost all the time. It's just such a simple deck. Let me show you how it shuffles, because I just like shuffling it. Look at that sound. It's absolutely amazing. And you can do whatever you want to this deck. It's not gonna get damaged. I just love it. Yep. This was unexpected. And I think I paid 35-ish pounds on Kickstarter to get this. And I think I got it January, February, something like that. It's been with me since then, and I think I've used it every other day, to be honest. For myself or for others, doesn't really matter. I just used it, so I like it. Another unexpected purchase. Le Tarot de Marseille par Polka. Sorry, it's just my mouthful. This is a very, very interesting deck. It's a Marseille type deck. The artwork is very medieval, creepy, and pippish, because it's a Marseille deck, right? Look at this tower. It's so funny and so creepy at the same time. It's like, what? This is the star. I don't know, it's just absolutely hilarious to look at this deck, to shuffle this deck. It's a slightly thinner card with a very good flex in terms of cardstock. And I do like it. I do like using it, as you can see. Look at this magician. Anyway. This sun card makes me laugh for some reason. Look at this Knight of Cups. Anyway, I just love the deck. I love the artwork. I think it's so amazing, and the whole thing is surrounding the umbilical cord, as you can see, and we have like a significant card here, very descriptive, I want to say. Anyway, this is a very funky little deck, and I like to take it out and use it on people sometimes, especially some of my friends who are a bit morbid like I am. I do like it. I think it lends a hilarious, humoristic, funny aspect to tarot, even though you don't necessarily need it, but because it engages both the comical aspect and the horror aspect. I think it does it very, very well. So I do like using it just for the sake of it. Anyway, this is Le Tarot de Marseille par Polka, and it's kind of difficult to get your hands on it. I had to order it from France. You have to take into consideration customs and everything, so be aware of that. But if you have like a funny bone and you like something that's quirky and different, this is the one. Lastly, the unexpected of the year is the Muse Tarot. For some reason, I've resisted this deck for such a long time. Don't ask me why. I think I always thought that the artwork was beautiful, but it was just a bit too fluffy for me, if that makes sense. I know I sound ungrateful, but I guess that's how I felt. And one morning I was like, oh my god, I need to get me the Muse Tarot. Why? I couldn't tell you why. And I ordered it and I instantly clicked with it. So I think this is a good thing as a not just as a tarot reader, but as a person. You can reject something until you start being drawn to it, and then you should listen to what you need to do with regards to that situation. Because should I've resisted the Muse Tarot, probably I wouldn't have done so many amazing readings, because I feel like it adds a new layer, a new dimension to my readings. Because okay, the artwork is not necessarily the most unique or the most beautiful artwork ever. It's just I do like the way it's blended into tarot. See, this Four of Voices, it's about taking a break, resting, recuperating, right? The Six of Emotions, looking into yourself, at your inner child, and caring for it. It's like I couldn't deny myself having this tool in my life to help me achieve that, you know. And I'm happy I listened and I wasn't very judgmental when it came to this deck, because it's such a well-loved, like well-known and well-loved deck by everyone in the community. And I felt like me not liking it gave me strong "I'm not like other girls" vibes. I know, silly, but it's just I think I needed something that was more harsher and more direct than this deck. But that's not what everyone needs, and I'm not everyone, so my decks shouldn't cater only to me. They should cater to my clients as well, right? So I'm happy I decided to purchase this, because it's such a good addition to my collection. Yes, it's the mass market edition. I don't care, I don't mind. Probably I would have been happier if I had the initial Kickstarter edition, but it is what it is at this point. I don't mind. What else? For the video of the year, I think Spooktoberfest was a good experience I had. I really enjoyed that. I'm now showing you a deck that I wanted in my videos, but it arrived a bit too late for it to be included, so hopefully it will make its way next year. I think Spooktober took a lot of planning, and I enjoyed doing that. I enjoyed filming it. I had a lot of fun doing it. Another type of video I enjoyed was what decks would I rebuy. I'm starting to pay more attention to the VRs that are going around in the community, just because I want to make sure I'm contributing in a way that makes sense. I think in terms of the theme of the year, I think I made a lot more purchases that were mindful, rather than just buying things for the sake of buying. I do try my best to be more self-conscious about the way I use things and about the way I value things, because I don't know, it just feels like sometimes I'm not paying enough attention to that. I don't want to buy decks mindlessly just because they are on sale, or because they are sorry, I was just trying to make sure that my camera is focused. What's happening? Sorry. Yeah, as I was saying, I don't know what's happening to my camera. Anyway, I'm trying to buy less decks that I won't use and buy more decks that I will use. I will be going on a journey to declutter my collection, because I think I need some of that. And I think in terms of predictions, it was a year when I was trying to grow into that Queen of Wands energy. But in terms of goals, I wanted to reach the Queen of Pentacles energy. I think I need more feminine energy in my life, and the Queen of Pentacles is the way to go. In terms of accomplishments I've had, I think I made peace with some of the cards, especially the Five of Pentacles and the Five of Wands. The Five of Pentacles is a dreaded financial burden card that people dislike, but I think we're not grateful enough to appreciate the message, to appreciate that sometimes we don't put value on what we have, and we want too much too fast, and we just ignore things that will fulfill us emotionally. And with the Five of Wands, I'm trying to reconsider disruption as a negative impact. So most of the times I manage to do that, which is a plus, and I'm still working on it, and that's fine. I think we're all works in progress, and we should be appreciative of that. Why isn't my camera focusing? I'm sorry. And what's my wish for 2022? I think I should focus more on tarot, be more consistent with my filming, be more creative, because I have so many ideas, but I'm not that disciplined as to film them. And I think I should be able to get into that space where I'm happy to stick to a schedule. Yes. Also decluttering, as I said, and less buying of decks. I think that's it for 2021 from me. I hope you enjoyed my rant. It was a long one this time, and it gave me the time and space to consider things and to be more present when it comes to my purchases. I did have a lot of fun trying to think of this subject and trying to film it. It's not my first time when I'm trying to film this, so hopefully this time it will go well. I would love to hear how 2021 went for you, and if you have any special feelings about it, if you have any special wants and needs and ideas for 2022, if you resonate with any of the decks I presented here today, or if you want any of the decks I presented here today, how do they make you feel? How do you plan on incorporating them in your practice or in your collection? What type of like aesthetic do they feel? And anything that comes to your mind, please feel free to share in a comment down below. I think 2021 was a good year for everyone. It allowed us more space to like rethink our strategy in terms of long-term planning, and it certainly did that for me. I hope 2022 will be full of hope and full of achievements, the good kind, not necessarily the material kind. And I look for it for inspiration and for creativity and for kindness and compassion for myself and for others as well. That's all I have for you. I hope you enjoyed my rant. I do hope to see you in another video, but in the meantime, have a lovely end of 2021 and have an amazing beginning of 2022. See you in the next year. Bye.